Be some kind of deeper meaning into having that microphone stand.
You leaving on the stand? I don't know. Put it here. Skipper, you go against Shohei tonight. Are you interested to see what have you noticed? And from a pitching standpoint, how do you go against this guy?
Yeah, again, it's like I can't say it's like anybody else, but in a sense it is. You want to have a game plan for what he does in coordination with what you really want to do. Try to work that, stay with it. Some guys you got to give more play to, some guys you give less. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that you got to be able to pick sides and areas and try to cover. A number of pitches, it's hard to cover everything.
You were saying yesterday, though, how great it is for baseball to see somebody like this do what he does. And from Japan, it's on in Japan. And
yeah, anywhere. Honestly, what he does is pretty amazing from the standpoint of basically, it's kind of like back to high school, right? You pitched and you played and you hit, and we got away from that in pro ball where guys just did one thing, right? And we've turned pitchers into non-athletes from the standpoint of we don't allow them to do anything, and so it's good to see.
You got within a game of 500. Everybody's noticed that. How significant is that as a step anyway?
No, I mean, it's good that we're winning games. Obviously, you're not going to go anywhere if you're not playing 500 baseball. And you're probably not going anywhere by just playing 500 baseball. So it's a step on the way to get where you got to go. You got to get there. So, today's not it's a game where it's really, I know you have to look at the 500 kind of like that because it's a number. And Kyle likes to bring it up all the time to me. So, but I kind of look at it like day to day, you got to win today. You got a game today, you win today, and you move on. And so that's kind of what we've been trying to do.
Don, when you see a lot of clubs, like the Yankees and certain teams that'll draw a lot, and then all of a sudden you got Shohei Ohtani, don't you feel the energy level with the crowd would be a whole lot more, knowing you only get to see this guy once every so often? There's certain guys that are polarizing, like Mark Fidrich, Fernando Valenzuela, and now you got Shohei Ohtani. Not only does he draw a lot of crowds with the photographers, but the media coverage that goes along with the fans that you hope to get tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think the more people, the better, right? Especially, guys like playing in front of crowds where it's exciting, and, there's certain guys that just seem to turn the needle, and he's obviously one of those guys.
This time of the year, I guess every year, just the importance as the deadline gets closer, and also, I guess, send a message maybe to the front office, hey, be buyers instead of sellers, just the importance of that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want taking your team and cutting it up. I think we didn't build this like this to sell. I think Bruce has said to me early in the year, I'd love to be a buyer. So you take him at his word, but we have to do our part. We got a lot of guys on the IL right now that are going to be coming back. For us, it's like as this thing comes together with those guys getting healthy, if we're staying healthy here, our roster is going to be, depth is going to increase. In our bullpen, it's going to increase in the starting side, position player side, all the way through. So as we get healthy, I'm not saying we need to go do a whole lot. I mean, everybody likes to try to do something, but we just need to get healthy and play better.
So the next few weeks will be huge as far as where you guys are, where Bruce Sherman is.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think for everyone, I think we've put ourselves back in the wild card race. So, and there's still a lot of baseball to be played. So the biggest thing now is just to sustain. We've kind of gotten on a little bit of a roll. This is like our third time of having a streak of over 5 games, but we haven't been able to sustain. So that's kind of the key for us now is hopefully ride this thing as long as we can, and when it ends, then just get back to win series 2 out of 3, and just get kind of, in a sense, boringly go down the road winning 2 out of 3, and just play that kind of baseball.
How much of a break has it been knowing that you're just returning for a 2-game series with the Angels, being at home, and then you hit the road? You're able to come home, stay in bed, then all of a sudden you go on the road. Does that help you, or does that hurt you?
You can get your laundry done, right? And then you get off the road for a week and home for 2 days. No, it's a little different. I don't think I've ever quite been through where you get home one day and you're leaving the next. Anyway, I think that's what we deal with. Players deal with all the time. You move, you travel pretty good, right, and make it as easy as possible on you. But 2 days is a little rough, but we'll be all right.
There are stats of Sandy. I wish I could regurgitate them right now, but they go on for a while about how deep he goes into games. And obviously, the game's gotten away from that. Is that him, or is it the organization wanting to pitch? I mean, obviously it's him, but it's also the organization.
No, it's him. He's the one. I can't say directing it. He's almost forcing it. Right? He keeps his pitch count down. And generally, he's at a pitch count usually that allows him to go deep. He's not giving up runs. There's no reason to take him out, and it's usually that decision comes around the 8th, right? It's like, okay, we're gonna let him go. How many battles has he had? Listening to Mel and looking at the sheets in between innings, make sure his arm's not dropping or showing any signs or red flags where he's trying to force the issue. But Sandy's one of those guys that's been getting better. It gets better as the game goes on. And only one time have we seen him look like he had to use the effort late in the game. Most of the game's just been looked like it looked last night.
I think there was a national story that came out today just about not the death of the starting pitcher, but it's not opposite of what Sandy, but even just as a whole for you guys, you kind of rely on your starting pitchers. You don't expect them to just go 5 innings.
Well, I mean, I think some guys that we have, I think, are kind of 5-inning guys. Sandy is the one that goes deeper pretty obviously consistently. Pablo has been a guy that you kind of count on going a little bit deeper than the other ones. For the most part, the other guys have been 5 to 6 inning pitchers. And, when we had Luzardo in the rotation, different guys, you don't know where it's going to go. But, I mean, today's game, it's pretty much proven that third time through the order, guys struggle more. Numbers don't lie in that respect. But also, if you're doing that 4 or 5 times in your rotation, you're asking for 4 innings a night out of your bullpen. You got to beat up bullpen. And when your starting pitching is good, it keeps your bullpen fresh, and your bullpen's better. And that's really what we've seen. Guys like Sandy is able to do that, which has been pretty much every start the last 10 or so, is that your bullpen's getting a day, right? Other than one guy or maybe 2. And then even the day before, you can kind of use more guys trying to get to that day because you can kind of count on his day. And it's a little dangerous, and there's a little teeter right there at once because one of these days he's gonna have a hiccup, right? It's just gonna happen. But as of now, he's been that guy that's the value of not only his day, but the day after, the day before. He allows you to do things in your bullpen differently.
Tony, did you sense that when he's up against, obviously a Trout, Ohtani, the first inning yesterday, that Sandy kind of gets maybe even a little more amped up?
Joe, you know what I've noticed, honestly, with Sandy is that just as the confidence has grown, I think in the past there's games that he's overamped and he gets out of his delivery and tries to do too much. So I do think he gets excited about pitching against certain teams or whatever. But I think what he's learned to do is keep his delivery. Yesterday looked like, like Mel said, he had more effort in his bullpen, he had faster movements. Who knows why? Does he just feel good yesterday, or is it because we're facing these guys and they have Trout and Ohtani? I don't know. But, in general, his stuff is always at the top.
Yeah, because he saw 3 100s against Ohtani. And not that he can't hit 100, but,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. I think in the past he's he tries to go get it, right? And he gets out of his delivery. Now he can go get it within his delivery, where he's not having to use a bunch of extra effort and his mechanics aren't getting all out of whack. Now he stays smooth. I think his confidence is bigger now. I've seen it against some of the clubs we face within our division, the Braves now, where you've seen him get excited pitching against those guys before. Now he's excited, but he has the confidence. He just goes out and pitches, and he uses his pitches, and he doesn't try to throw all fastballs that day. He's still going to pitch.
Hey, Don, I do have one last question. Trevor Rogers, I think, is on Hill tonight. So, he's facing Ohtani. Does he talk about looking forward to the challenge of facing Ohtani? I know, do pitchers sometimes talk about facing other pitchers a little bit and get hype up for the meeting?
I haven't heard that. I think in general, like Trev's getting ready for the Angels.
Okay.
And obviously Ohtani and Trout is part of that.
Right.
And I think in general he's preparing to, face the team, try to keep them down, give us a good chance to win, and simple as that.
Okay.
But obviously, is there going to be more excitement? I'm not sure, but maybe.
Okay. Just curious. Thank you.
Me too. We'll see what it looks like.
Yeah.
When you see the start of